Hello everybody, Blue Dooley, and today we are checking out American Truck Simulator. We have a Mac Anthem on the screen currently. As a truck driver, I thought it'd be interesting to do a review on the game. I've had the game for a week. Steam had it on sale, and last weekend I purchased the base game and the Pacific Northwest bundle, as well as Arizona and New Mexico. There were two bundles. They were on sale. Doesn't matter. I have all the DLC now that it's Saturday the 10th. We're going to dive into the game, show you some of the options, give you my thoughts as a truck driver on the game. It's a game, and I understand that they wanted to make it realistic as they could, but also still make it enjoyable. So with that in mind, I might nitpick a few things, but I also understand that it's a game and it needs to be enjoyable and fun. Some of the things that wouldn't be fun if the game could actually simulate it is if you were driving through Wyoming in the wintertime and you have a good force feedback wheel and the game simulated 60-mile-an-hour winds. It wouldn't be fun. It's not fun in real life. It wouldn't be fun in the game. Although thankfully in the game, it doesn't take as long to drive across the state as it does in real life. So, stuff like that, I can understand not being in the game. So, I'm going to try to point out a few things as a driver I noticed, but at the same time, while trying to keep that in mind that it's a game and it needs to be fun. I have been enjoying the game. I've been playing it for 4 hours. As soon as I wiggle my mouse, it'll bring up the menu, which I should point out that the game has really good mod support. So I used a mod to unlock the trucks and all the accessories and parts you can get on the trucks. I didn't realize it did that by just bumping your account or character level, or business level, whatever you want to call it, up to rank 29 to unlock all that stuff. So despite only having 4 hours in the game, I'm ranked 29. I did a run from Elko up to Ketchum, and that put me up to $102,000. I tried making the video a little earlier. Wasn't really happy with the way it turned out, so I'm filming it again. But we'll jump over here to progress history, and with that trip to Ketchum, that bumped my playtime up to 5 hours. Driven 2,700 miles, and while I'm at rank 29, that's again due to that mod, which I thought just unlocked stuff, but I didn't read the description right, and it just unlocks stuff by giving you a bunch of XP. The game, when you start off, wrong menu. There are some definite settings you want to change when you start the game, especially here in gameplay, as you can actually adjust how the truck handles down here with truck stability, trailer stability, and suspension stiffness. It starts off default at those at max setting, which is not realistic at all. I was kind of wondering why I was managing to maintain 70 miles an hour around tight curves in Nevada, and the trailer stayed in the lane and not was swerving all over the place. So to make it more realistic, you do need to move those down to increase the realism and decrease the truck stability, obviously. The game supports a bunch of different wheels, a bunch of different pedal assemblies. If you have an H pattern shifter or shift knob, you can use that in the game. It also supports track IR or head tracking, so when you look, the screen actually moves as if you were really in the truck. So those kind of details are really cool. Of course, you can also change transmission type. I don't have a steering wheel or pedals, so I'm playing on an Xbox controller and the keyboard, which is why my transmission is set to sequential. That way I can just use the bumpers like a flappy paddle gearbox out of an expensive car. You can, of course, change it automatic, real automatic, sequential, which I have, and the 8 shifter. There are some shifter mods out there, so you can actually get a real Eaton knob with high-low and the splitter on it and use it in the game. I've seen a few YouTubers playing it, and you can really get those kinds of things really dialed in. Braking sensitivity, I think I'm going to turn that down a little bit. The truck seems to stop really, really fast. So you can adjust map, route, fatigue. I have off because I just want to play the game. I don't want to sleep in the game. I just want to drive the trucks. So I have that turned off, but I have traffic offenses turned on. What other settings should we cover? How fast or slow you can adjust your cruise. Let's see here, 3 mile an hour tolerance. It's pretty good. Automatic blinker turn off. Some trucks have it, some trucks don't. I'm on a controller. I'm going to leave it on. Steering camera rotation, language presets, weights, lengths. All that stuff's in a normal game. Keys and binding, you can adjust all of these however you want. As again, I use in the bumpers on the Xbox controller to shift up, down. Gearbox switch, start, stop engine. Park brake, engine brake increase, decrease, trailer brake, retarder. I mean, you can control your lift axles. That kind of stuff they really have dialed in. Your beacon lights are separate from your normal lights. Air horn, your regular horn, wipers, cruise. I mean, you can adjust a ton of stuff in this game, which I think does make it a little more real than other previous truck sims, which also, oh yeah, tons of camera views. I have my graphics set to medium. I don't have a super high end PC, and I'm using OBS Studio to record. So between the game and recording software, it runs fairly stable on medium. When I'm not recording and just have, say, YouTube in the background playing so I can listen to music, the game, I still play on medium. The game runs real smooth. So any jitters you see in my video might be just because I don't have enough horsepower in the computer. Check out the map here. This is as far out as I can zoom on my screen. Oop. Yeah, don't want to go there. There's the map. You can go from Canada all the way down to Mexico. And like I said, from New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming. Texas is next, so I don't know when they're going to get to Montana. But between Texas and all these states, and if they get Montana added, that's a lot of miles. Which is kind of where one of my gripes comes in. But at the same time, I understand why they did it the way they did it. Because they need to make the game fun. If it had realistic distances, the game would be so huge, nobody'd want to. You'd need a super high-end computer to play it. And secondly, if it really took you 8 hours to drive from Laramie to Twin Falls, Idaho, you wouldn't want to play it. Let's be honest. You play the game so you don't have that much doing that much tedium in a video game. So we are in Elko right now. When I originally got the game, I didn't have the Pacific Northwest or Idaho, so I started in Elko because I've been there. Usually get down there a couple of times a year from the truss plant. Just run down through Twin, Jackpot, over to Elko. I've been as far west as Winnemucca. That's as far as we can go. Due to hours driving, we pretty much stay within 5 hours one way, so we got enough time to hustle back and still be legal. And we don't have any Elko's the only store we have outside of Idaho, so I usually just run pretty much Jerome east, go to Pocatello a lot, Idaho Falls. I'm up in Ketchum. I have been all the way up to, I don't see it, McCall a couple of times. So when it comes to city accuracy, I can really kind of nitpick it on some of these cities because I've been there. But backtracking to as a game, they put stuff where you might not actually see it from the highway or the 2-lane road you're on in town, but they might move monuments or there's a like in Twin, there's some stuff around the hospital that isn't really there. You can't see the college from Pole Line Road, which is the road you go through to head up to Ketchum or to the freeway. So that kind of stuff. I mean, if you've been through the places, you'll notice stuff like that. But you kind of have to realize the game's just trying to put in highlights, or the developers are trying to put in highlights. So you might not really see the college from the road you're on, but at the same time, oh look, they put the college that's really there in the game. The hospital is in the location it's supposed to be in, and it looks like the hospital that is really in town. So from that perspective, you kind of have to balance it. So for city accuracy, some are a little better than others. Graphics wise, the terrain and the areas between the cities themselves, they all look really good. And you can tell they tried to put in the effort to make the region look like it does in real life, although condensed. So you kind of have to keep that in mind if you're a truck driver and you're playing a truck driving sim. It's got to be fun. And the game is pretty fun. So let's hop into job market. I don't have enough money to buy the truck I want, and that's tied into your leveling. If you're not using a mod, you complete short contracts, and as your level increases, the amount of money you can make on a contract increases, and the farther you can go. Because you actually have, backtrack, you actually have skills points you get as you level up. Go away, fly. And that is how you unlock things on this menu. So at first, you don't even get up to 400 miles. So your first rank in long distance gets you the 400 mile deliveries. Up to rank 4, 1600 miles. Cargo values, fragile cargo, just in time. Those, from my understanding, are the ones that are like, hey, we needed this yesterday, so they want you to speed and go as fast as possible to get it there. Fuel economy, and of course your hazardous cargo. All that you can rank up how you want, and depending on what you want to drive. And as you can see, I still got 2 unspent points that I could put in fragile cargo, but I don't really need to. So now, as you level up, you'll get better paying contracts, which is fairly accurate to real life in some regard. It's not 100% accurate. If you're just out of truck driving school, you're not going to get a job hauling oversized loads or unstable explosives. They're not going to throw you to the wolves right away. They'll want you to have some miles under your belt before you get there. So that kind of ranking and the points they use to kind of, I guess, build your experience virtually, it makes sense. And I think the way they did it is, it's pretty fair and balanced. It's a little bit of a tedious grind, but it's also a little bit of that in real life. You're not going to get the best truck if you're a fleet driver from the get-go. You're not going to get the high-paying loads from the get-go. But after you got some miles, they'll bosses, if they're good bosses, will start giving you the harder jobs and keep giving you more as you progress. Tying truck parts to your rank or level, that's silly. In the truck driving world, if you got enough money, you can buy whatever parts you want, whenever you want them. Well, I suppose, provided they're in stock. But so tying the parts or the trucks themselves to the level, I'm not a fan. But now let's jump into it. We'll do some driving. Hopefully you can find it. You can also sort your jobs. I have all of those unlocked. I have the special haul DLC or the heavy haul, whatever you want to call it. So you can go for price, what pays the most. Going from Albuquerque to Olympia, Washington is the highest paying job I have available to me right now, and it pays $84,000. That's a long drive, and I'm not familiar with most of Utah and the northern part of Oregon because I don't go there a lot. Falls. That's what we're going to do. So you pick what you want to do, and then it'll assign a truck in the quick menu. Most of the trucks are 100,000, 180,000, depending on which ones you want to drive. So I didn't even pay attention to see what truck we were in. We are hauling a bulldozer in an International Eagle, which is a modded truck. I hate Dayton's. But as you can see, there is the AI. It's actually fairly accurate. And even when they do stupid stuff, still fairly accurate. So we'll jump in the truck, get it fired up. Since this is a mod truck, the sounds are not the stock game sounds. Horn sounds good. The modded truck's interior isn't too bad. The in-game trucks actually are really nice. There's a DLC you can get, so you can have stuff in the cup holders. I've seen a mod where you can put a dog or a cat in the cab with you. The game has a lot of mod support. So let's get this truck rolling. Actually, you know what? Before that, we need to adjust some stuff, which is kind of cool in the game. You can adjust the seat, steering wheel. I'm tall, so you can drive the truck how you want. GPS thing shows up pretty good. The mirror adjustments actually really quite good. There are some mirror improvement mods. Depth perception in the video game is a little weird, at least for me. And mirrors in the game, they definitely take a little getting used to. I cheated, and I cheat most of the time and go to exterior view to back in. Because it's a game and you can do that. In real life, if you're not sure, you know what you'd do? You'd set the park brake, get out of the truck, and look. So, yeah. It'll let you adjust all the mirrors, even the hood mirrors. Side mirror if you had it. I hate those side mirrors on the top of the doors. Because again, I'm tall, so it always blocks what I'm trying to look at. You can also adjust headlights. But now that we can actually see over the hood, I think we're good to roll. Since this is a sequential gearbox and I'm using the paddles, My shifting still needs some improvement. And I'll try not to snap the camera around too much. Turn on my turn signal. I don't have much room to pull out here. How's that side look? That side looks pretty good. Like I said, for the game, that's pretty decent view. Actually, pretty good sounding jailbreak in this mod truck. You can change jailbreak sensitivity, so you can have it on high, which it is right now, and then you can also drop it down to medium and low, depending on what you're hauling and your driving style. Since I am short haul and oversized, since I don't have beacons on my oversized load, we're not out at night. I jailbreak all the time, even in town. And depending on your school of thought, I know that's kind of a debate people get into when I see gamers doing it. And part of the reason I don't worry about it, the T800 I drive, or the T880 I also occasionally drive when that driver is sick, they don't have loud jailbreaks. That T880, you jailbreak past a preschool and not wake up a kid from a nap. It's so quiet. Speeding. It doesn't make hardly any noise at all when it's jaking. So yeah, if you're driving a truck that you throw on the jake brakes and people hear you stopping from miles away, yeah, probably not jake brake in town. The other nice thing about having an actual shift knob is you can skip gears. So I'm having to paddle shift through all of them. Come on, bus. Let's go. What are you doing? You. See? That's accurate. Kinda. I don't know what he was doing. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the game does have a lot of mod support. There are tons of custom trucks like this one. You can get custom sound files. That's one of the things I really kind of like about the game, is it has a lot of community support. The developers themselves really seem to want to improve the game, and I think that makes it more enjoyable too, to know that the game's going to have support for a long time. You already know Texas is in the works. Wyoming just came out. This is one of the free mod trucks. There are pay mods. Pay attention to where you're going. And I know some people are kind of against pay mods, but it's not easy to model an entire truck and code it and So, I mean, it takes a lot of work to model a vehicle in 3D space, get the gauges to work, get the gauges to sit in the right spot. So, I mean, it's one of those things, if you can support a mod author, uh, do so. We are 83,395. And again, there's a lot of great free mods, so you don't have to buy them if you don't want to. You can probably find something to fit any taste, really. My shadow, well, that's because of my graphic setting. I have shadows turned down. But AI traffic is pretty good. And again, their stupid's almost uncanny in some ways. They'll pull out in front of you like people do in real life. They'll not know what they're doing like people do in real life. In construction zones on highways, I've had to come to a complete stop because nobody knows how to merge in the game, which have happened to me all the time on 84, 86, and I-50. You know, they'll throw construction signs up miles in advance, which the game doesn't do. And people will still wait until the last minute, and then everybody has to stop. So, in that aspect, the AI is pretty good. I'd say if ATS could figure out how to make the AI speed and occasionally pass on the shoulder, which I've had someone do, or use the turning lane to pass me, which I've had lots of people do. If you've seen any of my dashcam video, there's definitely some clips of those people in them. So from an AI standpoint, I actually think it's pretty good. The scenery, I mean, again, I understand it's not super high quality because my PC can't push it, but it's still a really good looking game. I am filming this Friday night, kind of late. I'd hoped my previous run would have gotten captured, but the sound quality wasn't really that good, so I decided to refilm it. So, hope everyone has some fun things planned for the weekend, or if you're not doing anything, hopefully you have a relaxing weekend. I'm hoping to bust out some videos. This being one of them. I'd love to get some work done on my snowplow build. I plan on making a mod video for the game. I don't want to really cover mods too much here, even though the game kind of stuck us in a mod truck, which is kind of cool. That if you download the modded trucks and have them in the game, even if you can't buy them, they'll still show up on the quick jobs list. That's kind of cool. I don't think I remember seeing any of that mentioned in the mod's description. So yeah, that's cool. Mustang with the top down. So besides having a lot of wheel and pedal and shifter support, the game will actually support a motion seat if you got the coin to drop on one of those. So if you want the truck to throw you around in the game like it would in real life, and you have the money for one of the seats, it'll support it. Since I drive in real life, I don't need the game tossing me around. I'm A-okay just sitting in my comfy office chair. No road noise, no road vibration. I am perfectly content. I've seen some people say that those hood mirrors occasionally will cause lag spikes or bog the game a little bit. I don't really like how they look, so I would get rid of them. But if you like them, you can have them. Jackpot Eli. Passing through Winnemucca right now. I haven't been to Winnemucca that often, so I'm not going to talk about how accurate or inaccurate the game is. I am a little disappointed between Winnemucca and Elko. They flattened out a few of the passes, which driver standpoint, yeah, the passes kind of make it challenging in real life, depending on the weather and traffic. But in the game, to save space, I can understand cutting some of that stuff out. Come on, IH, let's get rolling. The cruise control actually works pretty good in the game. But considering how condensed the map is in some places, I haven't found it to be all that useful. I kind of wished my sound worked on my earlier run, because I went up to Ketchum in the game, and I'd actually been up in Haley earlier today, dropping off the second half of a house up by the golf course on the north side of town. And that's a pretty drive if you haven't been up that way. The game, it's condensed a fair bit, but it's also a really nice drive up there in-game. Mainly because the AI doesn't speed, so you don't have to worry about all the rich ski people passing you where they shouldn't be passing. Here we are in Elko. If you'd gotten off at that exit and headed south towards the airport, that's where one of our locations are. I don't pay, well, it's been a while since I've been down to Elko, so accuracy wise, can't quite comment. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just drive around it and see what happens. See, there's the AI. Drove right through it. Oh, car on fire. The way station bypass in the game is kind of weird. This is the third oversized load I've had, and the first two I never had to pull into a way station. Which, if you're oversized, I've always had to pull in. And if you've been to this way station in outside Elko, you know it's not actually a way station. Unless they have portable scales. It's actually just a truck inspection station and is rarely open. Or not open every day, which could be the case. And I just never happen to be down in Nevada when it's open. I've had to pull into the one on the other side going to Elko, but I've never had to pull into the one on the eastbound lane. So that's kind of one of the parts where the game's accuracy, as a driver, I can see people complaining about. But again, depending on what you're hauling in real life, I need to over truck. Oh, I haven't even gotten up to 55 yet. I do like how the SCS team, the devs, think we put concrete barriers between highway traffic and road construction people. Nope, those would be just road cones. Wells is missing an exit. This part I can tell you, not accurate at all. There's a Love's, a Flying J, and a hotel. Nothing past it. Yeah, you're pretty much out of town after you get south of the Flying J. Pilot's on the right in the real town, and there is a little gas station right here, which is where I usually stop and use the bathroom and double check straps before I get on the interstate. No casino, none of this stuff on the right. There really is not much on that exit of Wells if you've been there. Now, if this game had CB chatter, they could really up the realism by having the call girls from the bunny ranches around Wells come on the CB every once in a while and tell you about free coffee and showers. I know this because I've heard them come on the radio and tell you about their free coffee and showers if you come see them out at the bunny ranches. I've never stopped, honestly. I'm married and the truck has a GPS in it, and I don't think the company would be very happy with me parking the truck at one of those places. The speed limit is 70 between Wells and Jackpot. And actually, I kind of think it's a pretty drive myself. A little more mountains, twisty road than taking 86 over to 15 to head up to Idaho Falls. Which actually, once you get over to 15, you're up kind of along the mountains most of the way up there. There are also traffic density mods So if you want a little more realistic traffic, you can get those. I actually think, minus the cities where there should be a lot more traffic than there is, out on the highway and stuff, the traffic density is actually pretty good. I mean, especially depending on the year or time of year. You'll have more touristy people coming up this way or heading up to Jackpot or Ketchum and things. They made Jackpot quite a bit bigger than it is in real life. Which, again, some of the accuracy I know is to balance the game out a little more. Like, since they made the in-game Jackpot bigger, there's actually stops for the in-game businesses to drop off at and load at. So that's kind of one of the things you kind of have to keep in mind. Come on, get all the way down into the gear I want. It's one of them things you have to keep in mind as a driver and you play a game like ATS, is they have to do some balance. They can't all be 100% accurate, no matter how awesome that would be. If you've been between Jackpot and Twin Falls, you know there's actually a fairly steep grade out of Jackpot, which isn't in the game. Again, that's a nitpick on accuracy, but at the same time, they do have to kind of condense the space between Jackpot and Twin to make the game fun. I get that. However, those people in that box there for the boat inspectors, while in the wrong spot, that's what it really looks like. I feel sorry for them poor people who have to sit in that RV out in the middle of nowhere to check people's boats. I can say that the gas station and the little museum sitting right here are really accurate. That's what that place looks like in real life. Come on. And this way station not only is a little tiny hole in the wall way station, but it's this much of a pain in the ass to get in and out of. Because there is no ramp at that one. That is really accurate. Hey, don't run into my trailer there. Coming up on Twin Falls. That's supposed to be. But that little RV park, that's really there. Come on. Oop, getting a little stuttering. lots of stuttering. This intersection between Filer and Twin Falls on 93, that's pretty accurate. Actually, there's a train crossing in silos at Curry Crossing, which is where we're at. Wasn't paying attention to where we were going. There's a concrete plant out here. Doesn't look like this, but it's here. Okay. Still not going to be centered as much as I would like, but I also don't want to take forever. Go back into the inside cam. And that's the other reason I kind of back up most of the time from outside, is sometimes those lines are really hard to see. Oops. Let's get out of them here. Especially when they're white. Makes them really hard to see. But it's a game, so you drive how you want to drive. We're gonna see how we did. Let's see here. 416 miles, proficiency bonus, long distance delivery bonus, high value cargo bonus, trailer maneuvering bonus. Got excellent. And we are at $119,000 thanks to that haul. I don't think I got enough money to buy the truck I want, but we'll go into the truck customizer and kind of show you around. So you can click on dealers. Access mod dealer, which means you can buy a truck wherever you want. Give it a second to load. The Mack Superliner is a mod, and I have no idea why they put it under Kenworth. There's a Mack dealer network in the game. I don't know if maybe the Mack Superliner came out before they put Mack in the game, or what. But yeah. It's only $49,000 though. You get the T6080, the W900, in a couple of configurations, the T680 in a couple of configurations. I kind of wish they had a T800. That's actually what I drive at work. Freightliner. The Agrocy is a mod. It's actually a really nice mod too. It's only $99,000. Couple day cabs. They're all Cascadias. Peterbilt. I'm not sure why that one shows up in the Peterbilt menu, but they got the 579, the 389, low roof, 579 stand up. High rise, ultra cab, Ultra Cab in a different color. Mac, you get the Anthem unless you get the mods. It's 149. International, you got the LT, the 93 Eagle, which is the mod, the Lone Star. This Work Star is a mod that personally I'm not a fan. I like the truck. I've driven the Work Star in real life, but the mod, I just don't think the mod's set up quite right. And of course you got the LT and the Lone Star and a couple of configurations. Volvo 300 and 730 and 780. Western Star. The 49X came out this year, I want to say. So Western Star definitely did a lot of PR work. They put it in this game as a free DLC, and you can get it as a free mod in SnowRunner. It's actually a pretty good looking truck. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the Peterbilt and the Kenworth's real narrow nose. I kind of like that wider look of the Superliner, the LTL, the Eagle. I just kind of like that bigger, wider grille. And everybody drives a Peterbilt or a Kenworth. I'd rather drive something else. We don't have the money for it, but we're going to check out some of the customizations on the Western Star. The truck customization menu, you can do a fair amount of customizing on the trucks. It's an area I wish ATS would do a little more work on, so you didn't need mods. The trucks all need different moored stack selection. The base game doesn't have the cab guard, headache rack, chain hanger, whatever you want to call them, or chain hangers to hang tire chains on. Wheel options. I hate most aftermarket rims. And I'm just going to flat out say it. The 10-hole Alcoas, those are awesome. The steel buds, those are awesome. The Alcoa super singles are awesome. I hate everything else. Just out of the hundreds of rims or thousands of rims in all the video games ever, I like 7. But the customization you can do is pretty cool. So the thing I would like to see again is the yes, I know. Oops, that's the short one. And it'll tell you if something's not compatible or not. The day cab needs to be removed. That's weird. Let's go to the medium one. So this is actually the setup I'd kind of like. The 8x4 with the lift. All trucks you can put a lift axle on. Just have to spend the money for it. So I know the Western Star, you can get it. The W900. I think maybe the Volvo. It's very narrow choices on lift axles, which is kind of a shame. You can also do an 8x6 with the forward set, or with the steer axle all the way forward, or you can do it with the axle set back, which to me looks really cool. So we're going to go with this setup. Engine choice. Looks like the DD13 370 horsepower is the smallest engine you can get. And without mods, the Cummins ISX 15 Performance, 605 horsepower. Yeah, let's go with the big motor. Transmissions, Eaton, it's pretty much Eaton or Allison. We got a 10, a 13, 10, an 18, 6-speed, 13, a 7-speed auto. So whatever transmission you happen to enjoy driving the most, you can pretty much put it in the truck. So let's see your wet R. Let's go with the 13 speed and the 355 rear ends. I mean, the interior, this is a base game truck, and the interiors just look so good. Controls are backwards. So you can do basic, classic, or premium. I kind of like the basic one best. Colors, of course, that's the big important part. It's the color. That's a terrible looking yellow though. You could do two-tone. All the trucks, well, I shouldn't say all the trucks, but most of the trucks have different paint combinations you can do. And there's even more if you download mods. And of course you can do custom colors. You can even do custom metallics, which is pretty awesome. But we're going to go with blue because, well, let's go with that. And the accessories. There are a ton of them in the base game. You can do wind deflectors. You can change the vents on the rear of the cab. You throw your external HVAC on. The headache racks option is a mod, which again I think should be standard. You get that one, Forester, and chrome. Let's throw the chrome one on there. Mud flaps, we're going to do painted because that's how I roll. Exhausts, we'll do the unshielded ones. I think they just look good. Door handles, I mean, you can really, yeah, the mod ones are obviously mod. Chrome that out. I kind of like painted or black mirrors myself. We're going to do paint because we can. You better have the chrome visor. Of course, your oversized load banner. Bumpers. Really like the painted bumper with the bull bar on it. You can do the standard grille or the exclusive grille. And if you want, you can put your hood mirrors. Hood, you can change this around a little bit. Well, with mods. Then we can also, you can do chrome strip or leave the cab painted. Might as well go chrome. Wheel choice. Not sure why that one disappears. But you can paint the rims. Any of them that say paint, you can paint whatever color you want. Just mix it over here. You can do chrome. You can kind of do these wide slots. And then you have these square ones. I don't like them. Shadow. Narrow or wide. And then of course you got your steelies. This is a mod wheel. That's mod setup, and you wouldn't see Dayton's on this new truck. So I think actually let's go with with the wide chrome. You can change your hub cover. You can actually do painted hubs on the entire truck. And you can do wheel nut indicators, chrome, painted, chrome spikes. Kind of like these stubby ones, which we're also going to paint. And then you can do the same. You can also change tire tread, since those are just hanging out. They don't need to be drive tires. And of course, mud flaps. All I need is $190,000 and I can have that truck. Well, it'll be more than that because I got to change all the other rims. The couple of other things I'd like is I would like the option to not have chrome. Like all the chrome on this truck, I'd black it out. That would be awesome. Interior accessories, again, kind of depends on what you got and where you click. You can have your driver plate. You can change your steering wheel. Ooh, racer mahogany. Now we're getting fancy. Gutbuster knob. Put a nice wood wheel on there, and a wood wheel. Now we're talking. Not really. Yeah, the Western Stars interior looks great. Side mirror, chrome or paint or black. I hate those mirrors. Just useless, especially if you're tall. Toy chainsaw. Sun visor. As I've mentioned, it's a good driving sim. The graphics, even on medium, are really nice. The trucks handle, if you adjust that stability, they get fairly realistic. The game supports steering wheels, shifters, pedal assemblies. The game also supports motion platforms. So if you're a hardcore simulator person and want your seat to buck you around like a real truck, the game does that. It also does IR head tracking, so if you have a head tracking software, so when you turn your head, the camera actually pans in game. The game supports that, so it can get as detailed and as realistic as you want it to, essentially. It's missing some of the weather effects, like getting blown around by a strong wind. I grew up in Wyoming, got my CDL in Wyoming. I'm fairly certain no one would want to play the game if you really had to drive for 4 hours through Wyoming with 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds and gusts up to 70. If you have a really high quality steering wheel with force feedback, your arms would be as tired as if you had driven a real truck in that kind of weather. Does the game need that much detail? To me, no. Because the game's supposed to be fun. And the game is fun. You just jump in a truck and drive. If you have all the DLC, I mean, as soon as they add Texas and if they add Montana, that's thousands and thousands of miles of road. So you can kind of go wherever you want, especially if you're a driver and you're like maybe regional, so you don't get to Idaho or Wyoming. or, you know, you run along the coast just from Washington to California and back and never get over to New Mexico. So to me, that's that's kind of what the game to me is. It's I can drive trucks I can't afford in real life, or like a superliner. I don't think I've not seen one of those for sale in a long time. I've seen a lot of beat up Ford L9000s though, because of course this is farm country, so we got tons of those. So, as a driver, yeah, I could nitpick it to death, but at the end of the day, the things it's lacking, I don't think would make the game any more fun or add to the game's enjoyment. Nobody wants to get yelled at in a video game because they were 5 minutes late, or the dispatcher told them one thing and what happens in real life doesn't line up to what the dispatcher said. That wouldn't add fun to me. And games are supposed to be fun. So if you look at it from that perspective as a driver and you enjoy driving games, it's a good driving game. I'm going to make a mod video. I have found a few mods, so expect to see that probably later in the weekend. I'd also hoping to get some work done on the snowplow. As always, if you like the video, hit like and subscribe so you can see more nonsense like this, or build videos, or random dash cam clips. Hope also you have a good weekend since I filmed this on Friday, and we'll catch you later.